Richard MERDHURST, independent journalist. Danny Shaw, professor, City College, New York. Sarah Wilkinson, journalist and human rights activist. Richard Barnard, co-founder of Palestine Action. IMANE MAARIFI, French nurse. Francois BURGAT, French political scientist. Craig Murray, former UK diplomat. These are but only a few of the high-profile figures that have been arrested, detained or charged and discredited in the UK, France and the United States of America over the past 11 months for voicing and demonstrating objection to the ongoing genocide being committed against the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. They do not include the thousands upon thousands of others, including students, political figures, academics, doctors, lawyers and people from all walks of life who have continued to stand up and loudly declare no to their government's ongoing support of Israel. No to continuing to export weapons of mass murder or provide financial aid and political cover to the Zionist rogue nation whilst it carries out the worst atrocities and destruction by any nation in the last 100 years, brutalities worse than those committed by Hitler and the Nazis in World War II. Let us not be fooled by the liberal values the so-called moral West claim to uphold.
Hundreds of students have been arrested at universities across the United States.
Among these crackdowns on campus protests,
hundreds of police in the United States have raided New York's Columbia University.
Hundreds of students have meanwhile been arrested.
These arrests expose the hypocrisy of our Western governments and other nations that refuse to impose sanctions on Israel, and rather than take real action, only pay lip service to the carnage that is being witnessed daily in Gaza and the tens of thousands slaughtered and hundreds of thousands injured, homeless, destitute and diseased. Our Western governments and global organisations and institutions are lying to us every single day, claiming to defend freedom of speech, democracy, equality, liberty and humanity. Instead, they are enslaved to the Zionist ideology and are rushing to pass new laws and legislation that are meant to silence our voices, intimidate and threaten journalists and peace activists from continuing to speak out against Israel and share the truth. On September 18, the UN General Assembly passed an historic resolution demanding Israel end its occupation of occupied Palestinian territories and end acts of racial segregation and apartheid. It called on all member states to impose sanctions against Israel, to force it to comply. This could be more lip service. It is now up to individual governments to show their true colours and start enforcing this resolution to demonstrate whether they are indeed on the side of international law or Zionism. We have witnessed how the truth has lost all meaning to leaders and governments, and that all that matters is what glitters. The deals that have been done for oil, gas, diamonds, land, construction, security, weapons, and so much more. And our leaders have sold their soul to the devil of debauchery for personal profit, position, and privilege. To prove otherwise, they must enforce the new resolution and show us they mean business.
The lobby is an extremely powerful interest group.
Because the Israel lobby has bought our government wholesale.
And the fact is that every Jewish prime minister that I have known has enlisted American Jews to bring as much pressure as possible in the political process on American presidents. That's understandable.
It says, look, we're fine. But what can we do? There's this powerful Jewish lobby that's controlling us.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
I would call it the Israeli lobby. I think that's important. Certainly they enjoyed extraordinary influence. I had to resist it.
But I'm doubtful that the people we voted for and we entrusted with protecting our basic human rights will fulfill their obligations. For it is apparent many have sold their dignity and humanity to a Zionist cult that is in control of a nation that has now been exposed as the most immoral, brutal, beastly, inhumane, illegal, untrustworthy, unethical, uncontrollable, rogue, murderous, compassionless state that we have ever witnessed in the history of all humanity. Never has a country been this cruel. Never. What are these good people and thousands like them guilty of? Standing up for the downtrodden, the victims, the weak, the meek, against injustice, against violence, against war. Yes, guilty as charged. As a journalist, I commend and salute the Sarah Wilkinsons and Richard MERDHURSTs of the world, the Danny Shaws, Richard Barnards, the MAARIFIs, and all the others who have not been intimidated. Despite their incarceration, the abuse and violence waged against them, for continuing to fight and speak out and defend international law, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and justice for all. We must all stand with them and the others that will definitely be targeted, because they, we, us, are the only thing standing in the way of evil that threatens us all. We must stand as a wall of light, truth, justice and power against the demons that are trying to consume our planet and bring us to the brink of darkness. Hand in hand, we will defeat them.